Oh boy, I have a treat for you guys. Devils PA announcer Adam Hamway joins me on today's episode of Locked On Devils. The man has had quite the career in the media world, having done television, commercial, radio, and even video games. There's a lot to discuss and unravel, so let's get right into it. Buckle up, everybody.
You're Locked On Devils, your daily podcast on the New Jersey Devils, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, this is Bryce Salvador, and you're Locked On Devils with Trey Matthews.
Elliott scores! Oh, Stevens stepped up, nailed it. Brodor's got the puck. What a shot. The Devils win the Stanley Cup.
Alrighty now, what is up, New Jersey? Welcome back to the Locked On Devils podcast here on the Locked On Network. I'm your host, college hockey play-by-play announcer, Devils writer for Pucks and Pitchforks, and also part-time credentialed media member, Trey Matthews. Joining me is a man that you might hear through the loudspeakers at the Prudential Center, but believe me, he's not a one-trick pony. He has been featured in a bunch of commercials, including for Wendy's, Buffalo Wild Wings, and Dunkin'. In addition to that, he is also known for doing comedic impressions, including, most notably, Jimmy Fallon. Before taking the Devils PA gig, he was the backup PA announcer for the team across the Hudson River. I think you already know who it is. I'm talking about, it's Adam Hamway. Adam, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for being here. So, Adam, it's the All-Star break right now. How geared up are you for the second half?
Oh, I mean, so far things have been really, really exciting. So it's going to be great. I mean, I love this gig. And so, every time that I'm at the Rock, it's always rocking. There's a bunch of, they've got so many sold out nights that the fans have been kicking it into high gear, and I feed off of that, and I love it, and I'm really looking forward to what's to come post the All-Star break.
All right, we'll get to that momentarily, but let's start with humble beginnings. Where did you get your start in terms of announcing?
Okay. All right. I try to be as short as possible. I always say that so long every time I say it. But so I started when I was in high school, men's and women's basketball for Parsippany Hills High School. I also did wrestling at Par Hills as well. I didn't physically wrestle. I just want to let you know, I didn't physically wrestle. I just did the public address announcing for the wrestling. All right. Sorry, that sounded weird when I said it that way. But and I did both when I was in high school. And after high school, I went to Quinnipiac University and majored in broadcast journalism. And at QU, they gave me my first ever crack at PA announcing on the NCAA level. I did hockey games, baseball, field hockey, lacrosse, volleyball. I learned how to PA announce for all of those sports. And I was there for 1 year at Quinnipiac University, and then I transferred to Hofstra University. At Hofstra, they had already had their public address announcers established there, so it wasn't an open door for me for PAing at Hofstra University. So I was like, what am I going to do? So I utilized my comedic and vocal abilities there for their TV department. I hosted student-run shows and just pretty much any type of thing that they had or wanted me to do was I was their go-to person for a lot of my peers, as well as teachers too. They would ask me to do certain things for them there in the TV department. And then post-college, my buddies Mike Schmidt as well as Brian Crawford, very talented individuals in percussion, and they asked me to announce for Pequannock Township High School indoor percussion events for U.S. bands. And from there, U.S. bands liked my ability and had me do a lot of U.S. bands indoor percussion events. I also did for them Drum Corps International events all across. I say all across, but it's really just the Northeast region, which is it's pretty extensive, the Northeast. So a lot of states in the Northeast, all of the Drum Corps International shows that the Allentown cadets would host. I did those, so I was performing. I was, it is performing, public address announcing in stadiums like MetLife Stadium. And then from there, what did I do? So post doing stuff for U.S. bands. So while all that's going on, I was actually, I became a producer for Sirius XM while that was all going on post college. Actually did a short stint working for a radio show in Denver, Colorado as well too. But I was a producer out there for the Caplis and Silverman show out in Denver, Colorado for KHOW, KHOW. And then, so now I'm at Sirius XM. I am now a program director there for the Catholic channel on Sirius XM, channel 129. And while there, that's where I met Joe Tollison, who is the public address announcer for the New York Rangers. And while, I met him, he and I, just hit it off because he's Catholic, I'm Catholic, I run the Catholic channel. And
you're I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm
Go
also
ahead.
Catholic. I'm also Catholic. So.
Oh wow, Trey.
Yeah,
You're Catholic, Roman Catholic. I'm actually Melkite Catholic, which is Eastern Rite. Are you familiar with us Melkites?
I'm Roman Catholic.
Okay, that's fine. It's all the same. It's all under the Pope. But still, it's just a lot of people don't realize that there's different rites too. So I love introducing people to the Eastern Rite, which is what I am, because I'm 50% Syrian. And that's what the Eastern Rite is, or at least, and for my church. So anyway, so we're Catholic, Trey, you and I, as well as Joe Tollison. And so we would chat all the time, and he loved that I announced marching band. He loved marching band. He loved Drum Corps International. And so we always get to talk and saw each other for a few years. And then eventually he asked me, hey, the Rangers are looking for a backup public address announcer. And he said, would you be interested in doing something like that? And I said, absolutely. I would love that. It's Madison Square Garden. And so I went in, auditioned, I went in a couple of times, and then they said, yeah. So then I went in, and I actually shadowed Joe to learn how, they do things on the NHL level, because, NCAA and, NHL do things, slightly differently. There's a lot of similarities, but there are differences. But also, so I just want to be a good backup and do the right thing. And, he brought me in, so I want to make sure that I'm doing the job and making him look good. So I just would shadow him a number of games. And, then I was back in. I was one of, they had a couple of backups too. So I'm just one of the backups for the New York Rangers at that point. And so that's how I got to that level. Yeah. So that's pretty short, right? That wasn't that long.
No. That was, you basically touched on my next two questions, which
okay.
was like, what was the process like of getting your big break? But you answered half of like, about some other ventures you've done, because like I said at the top of the show, I talked about how you've done commercials for Buffalo Wild Wings, Wendy's, Dunkin', and I actually saw some of the ads on your website. And for the Wendy's one, I'm pretty sure I've heard it at one point, because as a kid, like, who doesn't like, fast food now and again, or, things of that nature. So I want you to talk more about like some of the other ventures you've done outside of PA announcing and radio. So like commercials, TV shows, and other media that you were featured in.
So for the commercials, like you mentioned, their voiceover roles, both television and radio. And so I was one of a number of people that, made it to, I guess they call it the finals of a voiceover audition. When there's a big campaign like that, they bring people in multiple times, and they do different rounds because they want to make sure that they're getting the right person. Because if they want to do a longer campaign and want to keep somebody for an extended period of time, they want to make sure that they're making the right decision. So they start bringing in, different people, not necessarily the casting directors, but now you have people from, from the ad agency coming in, just making sure, that this is the right person. So after, many rounds like that, then they eventually chose me. And so I was the voice of Wendy's for a year, doing all of their television and radio ads. So I reintroduced the world to the spicy chicken nuggets. So, maybe you could say that I brought the spicy chicken nuggets back. I don't know, but they, how they always do that. They take a pause for a little while and they bring it back. So I brought that back. and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. I'd go and record 2 to 3 times a week. There are a lot of commercials that I recorded over that year, and it was awesome. It was pretty incredible. But also, I've voiced Buffalo Wild Wings commercials, like you mentioned, Dunkin' Donuts spots. I've also done voices for video games. You've probably played
which
one,
video games?
Trey. Well, I did stuff for Saints Row 3. There's a lot of imaging. Like imaging is the how do you say, something to the effect of 95.5 WPLJ or something like that, like the radio imaging that you would hear.
Okay.
80s, 90s, and today, WPLJ, like something like that. So that would be radio imaging, the stuff that you would hear. That would be the call letters to the station. So a lot of those stations I voiced different variations, different characters that I created to, voice the different types or genres of music stations that were there in Saints Row 3. And then I've also been in Grand Theft Auto. You probably can't find me. I play a bank liaison, so you got to really do a deep dive to find me for that. There's not
GTA
a prominent
5?
role in it. Yeah,
Oh,
I think so. I think. Well, the last one. It was the last one, right?
Yeah. GTA 5.
That it? Yeah, because they haven't released one in a number of years, right?
That is correct. I don't know when they're releasing GTA 6, but GTA 5 was actually one of my favorite video games to play when I was in high school. So I might have to buy the video game again to maybe if I can find your voice or something like that.
Find me. It'd be very hard. I'm not gonna. I don't advise you to search for that. It's gonna take you forever, Trey. It's not gonna. But I was in the game.
You were in the game.
I'm in the game. Yeah, I think that's it. And so you asked about television too. So we're going back maybe 2010. So about 12 years ago, I just signed up for Twitter. And I was on my way to work at my Sirius XM job for the Catholic channel. And a friend of mine told me, hey, check this out. Jimmy Fallon's asking people to go to Times Square. And if you could do impressions, show up. So if you do impressions, show up in Times Square, do impressions for us. So I went there. I did a number of impressions for them. They would ask me what to do. They would tell me what to do. Based on a list that I had provided. Not everybody brought a list. I was actually the first person to go. I got there right on time when they were supposed to be there. Saw them show up, handed Fallon a list. Obviously sign a release and everything. But you give them a list. They tell you what to do, and you do it. You're like, okay, let's do this impression. Or they would guide it along different little skits. Like they had me read Harry Potter as Snoop Dogg is what they wanted me to do. So I read.
Seriously?
From yeah, and I did it, and that made it on the air. There was a bunch of other ones too that I had done, and then and then from there, went to work. A couple of days later is when I got a chance to send in a reel for SNL because one of the producers from Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, they saw me do those impressions in Times Square with Jimmy, and they asked for me to put a reel together with characters and impressions. So I did, and I sent it in, and then I guess they liked it because they had called me up on the phone, and they said, hey, we'd love for you to come in and audition for Saturday Night Live in person on stage, 8H. Right there at NBC. And I said, well, what would you like me to do there? And they said, well, take what you've done in your reel. Obviously, it's got you this far, and do what you did there, and we'll see what happens. And so I went, auditioned, didn't make Saturday Night Live, but there's a lot of successful people who didn't make Saturday Night Live. So
you got further than most people.
That's true. Well, not a lot of people get that audition. So, there's that.
That's what I said when I went in to be the host for the Arizona Coyotes. Like I got to the interview stage or the where they would put me in front of a camera and see how I would act. And that's how far I got. But, I made it further than a lot of other people. So
absolutely. Well, they saw something, you know what I mean? They see something in you. There is something there.
Right.
But you know what? A lot of these auditions doesn't mean that you're not good at your job at all, or are good at what you do. And I'm going to say job, but you're not good at what you do. You are good at what you do because you made it that far, but you can never take those type of auditions personally because they're looking for something specific. You're not fitting that specific thing. It doesn't mean that you're not good at what you do. They just don't, they're looking for something a little slightly different. So, I mean, that's my attitude whenever I go into an audition, is that I'm trying to, I'm doing me. This is how I would do this. And if it doesn't work out, it's not because it's me. It's because they're looking for something very specific. Maybe they're looking for somebody, I don't know, that is blonde or is not, as young as me. They want somebody a little bit older. Like, there's just so many variables, so many attributes that they could be looking at. Personality, character. Oh, he's this, he's too much that, whatever. But like, it's just so many things that they're looking for something very specific that you can't be upset about it at all, because you don't know what they're thinking. Like, whatever, you just did the best you can, and that's all you can do. And that's it. So, and in my particular year, when I auditioned for SNL, they didn't hire anybody, for SNL that year. But they always do auditions every single year because, there might be somebody that surprises them or does something they never thought of before. You never know. Who knows what they're looking for, but you don't know what that role is that you were auditioning for, what specifically they were looking for, but they found it. But you're good at your job because you look at how far you made it, so there's something awesome in that.
Yeah, I'll trade in being a part-time credentialed media member for New Jersey Devils anytime, like twice on Sundays, every single day. It was a great experience, and I got to meet you in the process. So,
and also, can I say something too? I think that there's always something better in store down the line. This isn't just where you're supposed to land. This is where you're supposed to be. That's why you didn't get that too. That's what I believe in. I believe that just wasn't meant to be that time.
Right.
We're Catholic. God has something better in store for us. That's not where he wants us to be at that moment. So
I completely respect that 100%. And God does always have a plan. And and I'm glad where I'm at currently. And I hope to go even further. Now, you talked about some of your past PA ventures, and it later led you to landing the role for the New Jersey Devils. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about what's your style as a PA announcer, because I remember telling you back at the Prudential Center that what I like about PA announcers is that they're basically the voice of the fan base. So I remember going to Detroit Piston games when I was younger, and John Mason, the PA announcer, he always said he didn't have like a rich he didn't have a rich, deep voice. That he had to treat everything sort of like a cartoon. He had to put more finesse into what he did. So, but at the same time, it worked, because it's like now I remember if Chauncey Billups were to score, he would be like, Chauncey Billups, or Detroit basketball. And he was the reason why it became Detroit basketball. So I wanted to ask you, like, what's your style as a PA announcer? What direction do you like to take your voice in?
Well, everybody always says I've got a deep voice, right? So I want to do something with that, right? So almost my natural voice. Well, it is my voice. It's my natural voice. But I always like PAs that are simple yet exciting. I don't like being overdoing it. I don't like the over the top. That's my style. That's just me. I make it sound as natural and not as forced. You want to create emphasis in certain things there. And my favorite thing is everybody's name is interesting and unique to itself. So when I get a roster, I like to look at it and then just try to find different areas where I can make it sound just, a little slightly different. Not necessarily everybody's name, but like, you just want to have a style and also be consistent with it. So I just like things very simple yet exciting. That's my style. I just want it to sound natural and not too much.
When talking about like names and things of that nature, it's just like, as a play-by-play announcer for the sport of hockey, I know how incredibly hard it is to get some of those last names correct, because even when I'm doing it for the NHL, like when I'm doing my podcast, I have to like listen to the names 3 times before I record and actually talk about that player, because I want to know that I'm getting the pronunciation correct. And some names are so much fun to announce, but other times it's just like, sometimes names are just like aren't as fun to announce. How I always say, like, if a player has two syllables in their first name but only one syllable in their last name, usually you can't really do much with it. But
Mhm.
is there like a certain player or maybe players that you just enjoy announcing? Like, I know obviously the main one would probably be Jack Hughes because he seems to score every single game. Like, do you just like is there like a certain New Jersey Devils player or maybe a certain opposing team player where you just hope that they score or get into the box sheet somehow, so that way you can just like, put a little more emphasis on their name, whatever the case might be?
It's interesting, and I there isn't a name or a person that I like to say more than others. I like saying everybody's name because, like I said, I think that they all have their unique thing about them. Unique names. I'd really like. Yeah, it's a really tough question. Because you say certain names more than others, but I also enjoy saying a name that I haven't said in a while. It's enjoyable to do that as well too. So I don't know. It's a really hard question because I love saying everybody's name, and I'm always anticipating that next person's name, and that's always my favorite. I like the excitement of and anticipating that next person's name that I'm gonna say. Like I just really enjoy that. I know it sounds like hokey, and you're just like, come on, man, give me one, but I can't give you one. I really enjoy saying everybody's name on the team. It's just an honor. I can't explain it. It's just so cool that I get to do this. Um and so I just love it.
I respect that. And like I said, just for me personally, it's just like I like it better when a player has a lot of syllables in their name. They might be a little more difficult to announce for, but at the same time, it's
Mhm.
just like you could do a little bit much more with that. So, like, there was a
Yeah.
player on ASU's team. Her name was Flo Odd. And, I love Flo and all, but I even told her I can't really do anything with your name because it's like two syllables kind of thing. But I this kind of leads into my next question. You talk about like just wanting to announce everyone's name in that manner. Let's talk about how you got the job for the New Jersey Devils.
Okay.
Your predecessor, Joe Tolentino, he's a friend of the show. He's appeared on it before. How did you? And obviously, the Devils at the time were still looking for a new play-by-play voice, and now they're looking for a new PA announcer. So, how did you land the opportunity?
Um So I was in Nashville, Tennessee. I was there for the Catholic Channel on Sirius XM, and I was covering the Knights of Columbus Supreme Convention there in Nashville, Tennessee. And while I was there, I got a buzz on my phone, and when I looked at it, it was an email, and it was from the Devils, and they had asked if I was. They told me that there was an opportunity for a new public address announcer, and they asked if I was interested in considering this. And so I replied. I said yes, and then we scheduled some time, spoke, and they had asked me, the typical questions, if I was going to be available for 41 games a season. Obviously, there's preseason games as well, and I mean, that was it. So then after that, they told me about the audition process and what that was going to be like. And then from there, I went in, I auditioned, and then maybe a week after that is when I had heard that they chose me. And so that's the story.
And I just want to say you picked one great time to become the PA announcer because obviously you got the surgence of Jack Hughes. Nico Heischer's been having a good year.
Mhm.
Jesper Bratt the same way. Dougie Hamilton, very underrated in my eyes. So this whole Devils team has just surprised the entire league. And with that, there's always a lot of great memories. So what are some of the more memorable games that you've announced so far, whether it was maybe a game winner, or maybe it was a high scoring game, or maybe that infamous night back in November when fans started throwing trash onto the rink?
Mhm.
Is there just like is there like a few games that come to mind in which you were like, I'm really glad that I get to announce this?
I think the first one, it sticks with me is Jack Hughes' hat trick. Is very exciting to announce because it was also my first hat trick to announce, which was pretty remarkable. And to me, that was a great moment. And there are obviously a lot of great moments. Dougie Hamilton, the last home game he scored, against the Vegas Golden Knights, to tie the game, and then obviously the overtime win there. Had 2 goals on the game. That was awesome. That was pretty incredible to announce. Because fans get excited about that stuff, and so do I. I get really amped up when we get to do those cool things. But there's a lot of great memories. Those are just a couple of them. That kind of stand out a little bit. But I think the team's doing fantastic, and I'm happy every time I get to announce.
So my final question for you is, what are you looking forward to most as the season progresses? I know we touched on this a little bit at the beginning of the show, but obviously it seems like the Devils are back on their normal pace. It seems like, knock on wood, they might clinch a playoff spot, and there's obviously a lot to look forward to. And maybe Jack Hughes could become the first player in franchise history to eclipse 100 points. What are you looking forward to the most as once the season gets back rolling?
That next goal, Trey. I'm looking forward to that next goal. I know I said this before. You're like, come on, man. I really am. I love that anticipation. I stand up during a lot of the game. And I'm, I got a great view where I am watching, the game with all the fans. Like I said, it's been so incredible that the Rock has been, sold out like night after night. It's just been so wild to see that. And just, that energy, there's a new sound system that the Rock has, which you've heard, Trey, when you were there. It's just so loud. I don't know if you noticed this when you were up because there's, you're in that media area, but like, did you feel it shaking?
I did. Like, there was so much. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that, because every time something big happened, I would tweet out about it, saying like minor earthquake or something like that, or 3.1 on the Richter scale. Don't worry, there's still more in store. But before we continue with today's episode, I want to get you hip to a product that I use literally every day. So I started taking AG1 because I wanted to be happier. I wanted to be healthier. My body's a temple, so I got to start treating it as such. So what is this stuff? Well, one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all of those things. So its lifestyle is friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting good, supports better sleep quality and recovery, supports mental clarity and alertness. It's the one thing that's best about Athletic Greens is that use best of the best products based on the latest science with constant product iterations and third-party testing. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with the convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. And now the big game is fast approaching. We're about a week out, and we're really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On, because they're the #1 sports book in America. It is FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. Download FanDuel now so you can bet Super Bowl 57 with a no sweat first bet. You'll get $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. FanDuel lets you bet on everything from money line to point spreads to who will score the first touchdown. So it's the one thing I like about betting is that there's so many great options out there. And also, you know the drill. Make sure you visit our friends over at Locked On Bets for all your betting needs there as well. And please remember to gamble responsibly. Okay, let's get back to our conversation with Adam Hamway, the PA voice for your New Jersey Devils. Take it away.
The crowd, but also the sound system. So you've got this amazing sound system, which is brand new at the Rock. Then you've got this crowd, which is going bonkers every night that they're home, and it's just so cool. So I'm excited to get back to that. After the All-Star game, I'm excited to get back to another home game, and theme nights. The Devils have so many cool theme nights.
This guy dresses up as unfortunately, the reverse retro isn't going to be worn for the rest of the year.
I
But
know.
this guy dressed up as Chico for a reverse retro night. He had like the vintage Pepsi. He had like the cord phone up in the broadcast booth. You go all out.
I just love that. It's a combination of me, my personality, the comedy, the announcing. It's a combo of everything. But I would like to say it wasn't actually Chico. I'm not saying that I was. People say I looked like Chico. I wasn't going for that, but I'll take it. I wish I had a picture with Chico, but I couldn't find him. I tried to find him, but we should have gotten a picture together. That would have been a lot of fun. I may have to dress up again when it's not reverse retro because it's not happening again and see what happens there. But you asked what I'm looking forward to hearing more stories from fans that are saying that they're coming to their first Devils game. I hear that. I like hearing those stories that they're bringing either a friend who's come to the first Devils game. The Devils organization does a great job with their fan experience, especially with the kids. We love having kids at the game, making sure they have the best time possible. We've got, photos with NJ Devil, the possibility of being on the ice, riding the Zamboni, receiving pucks from players, signed sticks. There's so many different things that, the kids could partake in. And also the theme nights. And we're going back to the theme nights coming up. We've got February 21st is Black History Celebration. We've got custom warm-up jerseys. Then they've got February 25th. This one's really cool. There's the 2003 Championship 20th Anniversary Celebration. Members of the 2003 Cup team will return for a pregame ceremony, and the first 9,000 fans in attendance will receive a replica 2003 Stanley Cup ring. I'm sorry that you're not going to be there for that, Trey, but I know you want to be.
I might have to flight.
Get a flight. You gotta come out, man.
I might. But
maybe I'll see if I could snag an extra one. If you can't make it, I'll see if I could get one for you, Trey.
I appreciate
because
that.
you're gonna want that. You're gonna want this. Everybody's gonna want this. Then March 7th is Gender Equality Game. We also have a custom warm up jersey for that. Then you got St. Patrick's Day celebration on March 16th. Then they got the Marvel Superhero Night, and that's on March 21st. The first 9,000 fans in attendance will receive a Devils Marvel comic book designed by a Marvel artist. And that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. I don't know. People are saying I should dress up for that one. I don't know. Any suggestions, Trey? What should I dress up as?
My favorite Marvel character is Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it would see those type of I would love to do that, but my only issue with that is, will my announcements be the same through the mask? That's my only concern with dressing up and having like a mask over my face. I feel like I'm limiting myself because I can't have anything over my face.
You could be like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man
there you
after
go.
battle and like have your mask like ripped up so that way you can
that's true.
See your lips or see your part of your eye or something like that.
Yeah. That's cool. That's a good
loophole.
idea.
That's a loophole.
That's a very specific costume choice, and I like it to a particular scene, and I like that. We're completely off because there's a lot of times when the mask is completely off, right?
Right.
Are you talking about the kiss? You're talking about the kiss?
It could be the kiss or after battle. After battle, I was referring
after
to
battle. Oh,
after
battle.
Like,
I got you.
Like
yeah.
In all three movies, his suit would just get ripped up to shreds, kind of, to the point where you could
That's true.
see part of his face, particularly in Spider-Man 2, I believe.
I like that. I wonder if I were to put this out there on Twitter or Instagram, if somebody were to make a costume for me, a superhero outfit, and I'd have to wear it on Marvel Night. That would be pretty cool. I don't know. I don't know if they would do it. I don't know. Well, maybe they will. Who knows?
Okay.
Hopefully. And then there's one more thing. There's Fan Appreciation Night on April 11th. All right, that's it. I'm done with them. I'm done with those. Go ahead. Sorry. You were going to say something.
All right. This is actually my final question. I can't believe I was about to not ask you this. So I know you've been in video games before, but I know in NBA 2K, they got all 30 authentic PA announcers in their game.
Mm-hmm.
Are you hoping that EA Sports gives you the call saying, like, we're trying to get all authentic NHL arena PA announcers into our game. Are you hoping that you get that call from EA Sports one time if they want to match NBA 2K?
I want that call. I do want that call, Trey. I'm hoping that they do that. That would be really cool. I think that is a cool, nice little nod to the PA announcers, and I just think it's really cool. The other PA announcers would love that too. I speak for them when I say that we all would love that. That would be so awesome.
I think the PA announcers are the unsung heroes when it comes to like
Thank you.
the overall atmosphere at sporting events, because I took sports marketing before, Adam. Just, it's not just about the game, it's about the things that happen around the arena, because theoretically you're not going to remember everything that happened in the game, but you're going to remember your overall experience, how you liked the arena, how do you like the other necessities, things of that nature. So I think PA announcers are very unsung when it comes into that matter.
I appreciate that. Thank you for that.
Well, Adam, I want to appreciate you for coming on and taking time out of your busy day to appear and just talk everything Devils. And where can my listeners find you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Adam Hamway, HAMWAY, or on Twitter, same handle, at Adam Hamway, HAMWAY. And then I've got a website. I'm going to be redesigning it, so you could check that out, Adam Hamway, HAMWAY.com.
All right, Adam, thank you for appearing once again, and hope to see you again at the Prudential Center. And fans are definitely going to hear your voice around the Rock very soon.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.